Hey everyone, it's Bill here. I'm gonna give some of my predictions for UK Open for tomorrow. 4 rounds. I'm not gonna pick the winner because it's gonna be a blind draw or an open draw for the 4th round, and we don't know what those players are. But I'm gonna predict who did well, who I predict to do well tomorrow, and also I'm gonna share some stats that I've collected through the Super Series and the Masters. So let me get into the UK Open and some of the picks that I'll have for tomorrow. Again, round 1 will start first thing in the morning, and that draw has already been made. So the draw has already been made from round 1 up until round 3, and round 4, where the top 32 players jump in, has not been made. So what I'm going to comment is who I expect to get into round 4. There was one situation today where Justin Pipe tested positive for COVID, unfortunately, and he had a match against Luke Humphries, so now Luke Humphries gets a buy-in into round 4. I probably would have picked Luke Humphries to beat Justin in that game, but unfortunately you want to have the game and not get through with a bye, but Luke Humphries gets through. A couple games that I look at, round 2, Alan Suter against Raymond van Bardeveld. What a doozy for round 2. They did meet in the Super Series. Raymond van Bardeveld won that 6-2, and I'm going to suspect the same. Watching Raymond van Bardeveld over the Super Series was fantastic. The throw looked good, and even when some bad things happened, where he missed a double or his opponent had a good shot, where before he would do a nosedive at that point, feel sorry for himself, didn't, picked himself back up and played really well. Hopefully that continues on. But what a round 2 matchup that is. Especially that early in the tournament to have, and again, Alan Suter having a really good Super Series as well. It just poses to be a great match. If I go back to the players that I picked, I don't even want to talk about it, but I picked 2 players that got in the top 10 of the money, which are Joe Cullen and Gabriel Clemens. If I would go back and look at the Super Series, none of the big names played well. Gerwin Price only played 2 tournaments and then went home for an ear infection. Michael Van Gerwen, I'm going to get into some stats, but there's some really concerning things happening in his game, and he's jumping around like an idiot beating Matters Rasma in a quarterfinal. Whoop-de-doo. Like, you're beating Matters. Like, it's not like Rasma's a bad player, but come on, you're overselling this stuff. Give me a break. You can tell he's out of confidence. That's just a telltale sign that he's got nothing in terms of confidence when he's trying to brash himself up over a Matters Rasma match. And then Peter Wright's throwing, I don't know what the hell he was throwing. He's throwing a bomb. It's interesting too with that dart that he's playing. I've gone through some of the stats and I'll share them in just a second. And the fact that I believe he's 9th in doubles percentage. How with those bombs that he's throwing. I attribute the Peter Wright darts that he threw in the Super Series to, he just wanted to challenge himself. He gave himself the less chance of winning. It was crazy that he's throwing these darts. If he actually thinks those darts are going to help him out, good luck in the UK Open, Peter. You usually get a bad draw to begin with, but you don't have a chance if you're throwing those darts. So I don't know what that was about. And when I get into stats, he's going to be the one that I'm going to ignore, because unfortunately he brings special cause variation into the game. What I'm looking for with the stats is variation. And demonstrating, doubles percentage, 180s hit. Is there a way that you can predict how someone is doing? That's looking at normal variation. Play-to-play variation. He brings in special cause. He throws different darts every time. So it's tough to tell. What you predict Peter Wright is like try to, predict if Joe Thornton can skate. Well, actually, he can't skate. So bad analogy. Anyways, so again, a couple people I expect to do well tomorrow. I looked at the stats. A couple of people that stood out in the stats. Joe Mernin. If you take a look at his doubles percentage and 180s hit, he only won 1 game in the Super Series, but in terms of my stats, what I'm talking about in a bit, he looked really well. A couple other players that I expect to do well. Damon Hedda just looks dynamite. Got to the Super Series final and just consistent, really consistent when you start looking at the stats. I expect him to get into the 4th round. There's also another great round 3 game, Ross Smith against Kellen Ritz, that I'm really looking forward to. And then there's a couple doozies that kind of line up as long as someone else wins. And then you can get matches like I think there's a Jeff Smith versus Martin Schindler that could occur in round 2. And you've got a couple like, if I take a look at it, you could have a Rasma, Kirk Shepard, or there's a couple good ones that line up as you go through. Again, I'm not going to predict any predictions on any of the matches until round 4. Once the draw is down for round 4, I'll go through my predictions, and then I'll keep that going round 5 all the way to the final. I wanted to spend a little bit of time in the stats. So what I've done is I've compiled some stats around, percentage one of doubles, 9-darters, 180s hit per leg, the double percentage above 100. And what I did was I've ranked them. So I've given a score. The highest double percentage, it gets a score of 1. Highest 180s per leg gets a 1. And then just added them up and gave a total. So it was interesting when I was doing these stats. The one thing that stood out right away is obviously Johnny Clayton over the Super Series was the best. It wasn't even close. He ended up winning 24,250 over the 4 days. And if you take a look at me doing the stats and ranking those stats up, he comes in at number 4 out of 128. So he won the most money. But if I take a look at his individual stats, in terms of the doubles percentage, which really shocked me, he was second. What really shocked me, the best doubles hitter over the 4 days was Vincent van der Voort. He did have a nice run, or 2 runs, but then didn't have very good on the last day or the 3rd day. But if you take a look at that, Johnny Clayton was second in total doubles percentage, and he also was 11th in the amount of 180s hit per leg. The number 1 was Gerwin Price. There might be a little bit of piece on that because he only played 2 days, and that also includes the Masters for 2021. So I'm collecting the stats from 2021, starting with the Masters and then moving forward. A couple ones that stood out too, maybe on the negative side, but really ruined it. So on the bottom side, we can take a look at the bottom side. It lined up, right? So you've got, the person who was 128th was Martin Clearmacher. He didn't win a game. 127 was Steve Brown. He didn't win a game. 126 was David Evans. The worst doubles percentage I've ever seen. It's like 11%. He ended up not winning any games. Lisa Ashton was lower, didn't win any games. So I started to look at a couple people that stood out when I went through the stats. First one, Joe Mernin, 1 game. He only won 1 game over the four games that he played, but on my stats, he came in 8th. So if I take a look at what he had, Joe Mernin was 15th in doubles percentage and 20th in 180 doubles ranking. So when I added them all together, he ended up being 8th overall. And if I'm going to put some money down tomorrow in the first 3 rounds, Joe Mernin might be someone I'm going to keep an eye on. And then a couple other hard luck people. Kim Hybricks. Kim Hybricks was, I'm just going to get the stats here, was ranked 11th overall if you went through my stats. Now, he did all right. He won $2,000 over the weekend. He came in tied for 43rd in total money made on the weekend. But overall, 11th overall when you do doubles and 180s percentage. The number 1, if you do it, was Mervyn King. So again, you want to lay down some money to win a tournament. Mervyn King's got some great odds right now. If you take a look at the 180s per leg that he's hitting plus the doubles percentage, it adds up to a pretty nice bet if you ask me. A couple other ones to take a look at. Obviously, second overall was Dirk van Duijvenbode, who again played well. 180 machine. He was second in 180s. Gerwin Price was 1, as we said, but second overall in 180s hit per leg was Dirk, and his double percentage was relatively good too. And he got the 2nd rank. Again, I talked about Johnny Clayton being the 4th rank. Danny Noppert, 3rd ranked. And again, now Danny had a good weekend. He was 9th or tied for 8th in money. Maybe another look-see if you're looking at odds. Who hit a lot of 180. I was shocked with. Again, when I was going through this, I've seen them play, and I don't maybe notice it, but when you take a look at the stats, Danny Noppert was 6th in doubles percentage and 22nd in 180s hit per leg. So gave him a nice total score across. On the side where, geez Louise, they won some money, but concerning. Darius Labanauskas was he won 4,000 over the weekend, and he ended up being 63rd, so about in the midway mark. Glenn Durant, 87th on my ranking. I mean, his 180 hitting percentage is actually dreadful. If I go to his stats, it was actually shocking when I went through it, but he was 33rd overall on doubles and 126th. He was the third worst hitter of 180s this year. And I know he's struggling, but I think that's where he's struggling. It doesn't look like he's struggling on the doubles. Doubles are all right, but 180s hit. Now let's go to Michael Van Gerwen. So Michael Van Gerwen is the one, again, I think he's in trouble. Not by just his behavior, which was just, I mean, again, you're beating Gerwin Price, maybe a giver a little bit, but he's doing poses like this. What does he think, he's a wrestler? It's embarrassing. He actually should be embarrassed. But what it tells me when you do something like that is he's worried. He's got no confidence in his game, none. I would lay no money on Michael Van Gerwen. Now watch, he's going to go win the UK Open. I don't expect it. I expect him to get taken out, especially in an open draw. I guess you get either lucky or you don't get lucky, but he could draw Gerwin Price in the 4th round. Actually, it'd probably be Peter Wright that draws Gerwin Price in the 4th round, but it could be anyone, right? So, again, a couple other people, or when I go with Michael Van Gerwen, he was 7th in overall doubles, which to me is fantastic. But he was 61st in 180s hit per leg. 61st. That doesn't. I've always attributed Michael Gerwin as one of the, not the top 180 hitter, but he'd certainly be up in the top 10, top 15, top 20. He is 61 out of 128 in 180s hit per leg. That strikes me as very, very odd. A couple other players I might look at if you want to take an outside bet. Kirk Shepard. He came in 13th in my stats. Doubles ranking was really, really good, 11th. I talked about Kim Hybergs. Kellen Ritz, he had a great weekend. Or a great four days. He came in 12th. Makes sense. He was high up there. Raymond Van Bardeveld was 7th in the stats that I collected. He won one of the tournaments. Damon Hedda was 5th overall. Again, good odds for him. Jose D'Souza was 6th overall. And with my stats, again, maybe a good price for that. Like a Ron Moulenkamp was 17th in my stats. Right? He was actually better than Michael Van Gerwen when it came to stats, which was, again, surprising to me. When I'm collecting the stats, maybe I need to collect more stats and figure out other things that I need to take a look at. I'm just basically looking at your doubles, how you hit your doubles, big doubles, and then the 180s percentage. So anyways, just going on about the stats. I'm going to go back and watch the Leaf game. They're tied 1-1 against Vancouver. They're playing awesome. Big smile on my face. They should win this game, I would hope. But anyways, I'm also going to enjoy the darts tomorrow. First round, you got a lot of amateurs, or a lot of people from the Challenge Tour, Development Tour, that get in. And then I believe it's 151 total after the withdrawals and after Justin Pipe, with the unfortunately being positive COVID test. But I think where the action will really pick up is in that 4th round. And again, if I've got some time between the draw after the 3rd round or the 4th round, before they start, I might just pipe in and maybe comment on some of the games that I really like out of that draw, or games to watch. And then obviously going into Saturday, you've got the round 5, which would be the top 32, round 6, which would be top 16, then quarterfinal, semifinal, final on Sunday. Hope everyone enjoys the darts and enjoyed the stats. What I'm going to hope to do is actually get a webcam on my computer so I can actually show you the stats. But I might have to call the CEO, Ainsley, and my daughter to help me with figuring this out, because it's probably over my brain capacity. Again, hope everyone enjoys it. Talk to you tomorrow.